This is Let's Talk, and today I'm talking to Michael Kingsnorth, who happens to be my brother, but we're talking about his political journey through the last 30 odd years or so. So, hi Michael, how are you?
I'm not bad, thanks. You?
Doing good, doing good. So we're here, generally speaking, with the interviews. I normally, allow people to talk about what their interests are and things, but your main interest has been politics ever since I've known you. So tell us a little bit about how you got started into politics and when.
My interest kind of started when I was early teenager. So from about the age of 11, I used to have a newspaper around, and not what I was delivering, but got interested in reading the newspapers and the actual news. And then when I was at school, Wilson Comprehensive, I did history, world affairs. At GCSE level. No, not GCSE. Cut that out. It was CSE level. I'm too old for GCSEs. Basically, we studied American politics during the recession and the New Deal era, and also German politics was the Second World War leading up to the Nazi rise in Germany, and then up to the Second World War.
So what kind of key areas interested you most in those political classes?
It was a lot of it was to do with how people were being manipulated, and I mean, what really got me spurred into politics was the fact that I'm pretty much a liberal. I believe in being able to make decisions for myself, and from what I've seen over the years, politicians try and influence people's decision making in various different ways. And
you'd mentioned that you were delivering newspapers. Were you aware of how those newspapers were actually manipulating people?
Probably back then, not so much as I do now. I think 30 plus years in reading newspapers and watching what goes on in media and social media, and having worked for a broadcast company, you tend to see how things get manipulated. And how the politicians and campaigning groups manipulate the media.
Okay, so you obviously at school you were influenced by the politics, and we're going to go into your later life a little bit because I think that's where we'll get into some really meaty stuff. But you were talking to me about a particular teacher who used to have discussions with the class, and tell us a little bit about him and how those classes were run.
Well, from year 3. Which I can't remember what it is now, modern days, because it's different numbering. My form teacher was also my history teacher, and we had, during form time, some very interesting, diverse conversations on multiple political subjects. I mean, obviously there were different views from around the class. Quite often the teacher would actually adjudicate the discussions. It was, sometimes it would get heated, but in many cases, it was like a normal political debate in, say, for example, the House of Commons or something like that.
And did that give you the confidence to speak out?
Not really. I mean, confidence came at the age of 17. I actually joined the SDP. I hadn't realised that you could actually join from a younger age than that. Otherwise, I'd have joined probably earlier than 1984. The whole thing about the new party and breaking the model, I kind of predicted from just reading the newspapers and having the interest in politics. And then in 1981, the SDP was formed from 22, I think it was 22 MPs breaking away from the Labour Party and one Tory MP. And what they stood for, I passionately believed in: electoral reform, pro-European Union. They even talked about citizens' income back then, which a lot of people are only just starting to talk about now. So it was really, a good, passionate times back then.
What caused the new party to be set up?
A lot of it was to do with the influence of trade unions over the Labour Party and how undemocratic it was. And back then, I don't think it really had, one member, one vote. You had this broad college. It was also influenced by a lot of left wingers. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it, to what we're going on today? So a lot of the Social Democrats didn't feel at home in the Labour Party, and got to the stage where they just had to break away. And the rest is history. They formed the alliance with the Liberals to become the SDP Liberal Alliance. And then later on, between 88 and 89, they merged into the Lib Dems. We all know it today.
You were 17 when you said you joined that party. What were your involvements? What sort of activities did you get involved with in the party?
Well, from day one, I was involved in at the time, the county council elections in Northamptonshire. So I was actually door knocking and leafleting and having some really good conversations on the doors with people I haven't even seen. So door knocking, once you get used to it, it's quite. I actually enjoy it. It's quite a challenge talking to people from different political persuasions. I mean, obviously, when you door knock, you're not trying to convert because you don't have time during elections. But it's interesting to have conversations with people from different backgrounds, just, so you have an understanding of how people think. Because for me, the older I get, I realize that majority of people don't think the same way as I do. So it's kind of liberating to see people think differently. I mean, brains are wired differently, so people have to think differently, I suppose.
So the exposure of meeting so many different peoples was good for you because it helped you to realise that there was a broader band of thinking than maybe what you'd originally grown up with.
Yeah, but I still maintain that, and I still have even today strong support for social democracy, liberalism, mixed economy. I mean, I don't have an issue with certain industries being controlled by the state. Utilities, public transport, I think would be much better off under control of the state. But I mean, to a lot of people, that's very left-wing thinking. But I also believe in people having freedom to make choice. So to me, the state telling me what to do, it doesn't go down very well with me, unfortunately.
We have more on the way, so please subscribe to this channel and check out the link below if you'd consider becoming a patron to help us keep making more content. Thanks for watching.